Lola confided in Alex the next morning at work, explaining her new theory about Kunle. Alex, ever the protective friend, suggested they share the new development to Detective Kemi. Kemi was intrigued by the lead, but cautioned Lola against taking any drastic action without proof. We need to be sure before making a move. If Kunle is our guy, he is smart. He won't leave obvious evidence. Kemi advised Lola to maintain her routine, but with an extra layer of caution. Meanwhile, the police will discreetly investigate Kunle's background and monitor his activities. That weekend, Tolu invited Lola and a few friends over for a casual get-together. Kunle was there just as Lola had anticipated. He was polite but distant. Lola kept her cool, smiling and laughing as if nothing was wrong, all the while stealing glances at Kunle's ring. It was identical to the one in the photo. The tension built throughout the evening, but Lola couldn't confront him. At least, not yet. The next few days passed in a blur. Lola's anxiety grew as she waited for news from Kemi. The emails from the secret admirer kept coming, each one more intense, more demanding. He spoke of their future together and how they would soon be one. Then one morning, Lola found a box on her doorstep. She hesitated before opening it. Inside was a necklace with a pendant shaped like a hat. But it wasn't the gift that disturbed her. It was a note attached to it. I see the way you've been looking at Kunle. You are smarter than I thought. But you can't hide from me, Lola. I will always find you. Lola dropped the necklace as if it had burned her. Whoever this was, they had been watching her, not just online, but in person. She was no longer safe anywhere. Lola rushed to the police station and handed over the latest letter to Detective Kemi. Kemi's team immediately ramped up the investigation. They began tracking Kunle's online activities, phone records, and social media profiles. However, Kunle was careful. He hadn't left a digital trail that linked him to the email. At least not yet. Kemi advised Lola to change her routine and be even more cautious about her movements. She also recommended Lola stay at a friend's place for a while. Alex offered his apartment, which was in a more secure building with 24-hour security. Lola accepted Alex's offer, grateful for his support. But as she packed her bags that night, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was far from over. A week later, Kemi called with news. They had traced a suspicious IP address to a VPN Kunle had been using. While it wasn't conclusive proof that he was the stalker, it was a strong lead. Kunle was now officially a person of interest, but as they were preparing to bring him in for questioning, something strange happened. The emails stopped. The gift stopped. For the first time in weeks, Lola felt a sense of calm, an airy, unsettling calm. Was Kunle onto this? Had he realized the police were closing in, or had he decided to lay low for a while? Days passed without a single word from the secret admirer. Lola tried to move on with her life, cautiously optimistic that the nightmare was finally over. She resumed her normal routine, but the unease lingered. One evening, while staying at Alex's house, Lola received a text message from an unknown number. Do you really think it was Kunle? I am closer than you think, Lola. Much closer. Lola's heart sank. It wasn't Kunle. The real stalker was still out there, watching her every move. She immediately called Detective Kenny, who reassured her that they were still investigating all possible leads. But now, Lola knew the truth. The stalker wasn't just anyone in her social circle. It was someone much closer, and they were playing a dangerous game. Lola's world crumbled as she tried to piece together who could be tormenting her. Every friend, every colleague was now a suspect. She looked at Alex, her trusted confidant, wondering if she could even trust him anymore. Later that week, she noticed something strange. Alex had left his phone on the counter while they were having dinner, and an email notification popped up. It was from an anonymous account, the same kind of anonymous account that had been sending her those disturbing emails. Her stomach twisted in knots. Could it be Alex? Could her closest friend, the one who had been protecting her all this while, be the person behind the threats? Lola felt dizzy with disbelief. She excused herself, saying she wasn't feeling well, and retreated to the guest room. She couldn't confront him yet, not without more proof, but her mind was racing, filled with doubts and fear.
Over the next few days, Lola began paying close attention to Alex's behavior. She noticed small things. A glance here, a message he quickly hid, a phone call he took outside. All the signs pointed to something sinister. Lola couldn't sleep. The thought that Alex, her closest friend, could be behind this was too much to bear. She needed to know the truth, and the only way to find out was to confront him. That evening, she called Detective Kemi, who told her to proceed carefully. Kemi's team will be ready to intervene if anything goes wrong. With her heart pounding, Lola waited until Alex came home. It was time to end this. Lola sat in the living room, waiting for Alex to return. Her heart raced with a mix of fear and anger, her mind replaying every suspicious moment over the past few weeks. As soon as Alex walked through the door, she could tell something was off. He was tense, his movements slightly stiff, as if he knew what was coming. Alex, Lola began, trying to keep her voice calm. "We need to talk." He looked at her, confused. "What's wrong?" Taking a deep breath, Lola decided to confront him head-on. "I've been receiving anonymous emails, threats, gifts, and I think you know something about it." Alex's face paled. For a moment, his calm facade cracked, but then he quickly recovered, laughing it off. "Lola, what are you talking about? Why would I do something like that?" Lola showed him the notification she had seen on his phone. "You've been hiding things from me. The anonymous emails, they are coming from you, aren't they?" Alex's expression hardened. The friendly, supportive person she thought she knew vanished. "You should have stayed quiet, Lola. I didn't want it to come to this." Lola felt a chill run down her spine. She had been right all along. Alex wasn't her protector. He was the stalker. Alex's confession stunned Lola. He was the last person she had ever suspected. And yet, the truth was now clear. "Why, Alex?" she whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. "Why will you do this to me?" His expression softened, as if his twisted obsession was something he believed she could understand. "But I love you, Lola. I've always loved you. But you never saw me, not in the way I wanted. You always kept me at a distance." Lola felt nauseous. The man she had trusted, confided in, has been manipulating her. "This isn't love, Alex. It's sick. You've been tormenting me." Alex's face darkened, I did it for us, Lola, to show you that no one else could love you the way I do. Lola tried to inch towards her phone, but Alex noticed and grabbed it before she could reach it. You're not calling anyone, he said, his voice low and threatening. Not until we sort this out. Lola's heart pounded in her chest as Alex stood between her and the door, his eyes filled with a dangerous intensity. She realized she had underestimated just how far Alex's obsession had gone. She needed to get out, fast. Summoning all her courage, Lola played along, trying to buy herself time. Okay, Alex, let's talk. Maybe we can figure this out together. Alex seemed to relax slightly, his guard lowered, but Lola's mind was racing. She had to think of a way to escape before things escalated further. I need some water, she said, keeping her voice steady. Can I go to the kitchen? Alex hesitated for a moment, but then nodded, watching her closely. Lola walked to the kitchen, her pulse racing, and as soon as she was out of his sight, she grabbed her spare phone from her bag and sent a quick message to Detective Kemi. Help, it's Alex. Help, it's Alex. I am trapped. As she turned back to the living room, Alex appeared in the doorway. What's taking you so long? He asked, suspicion creeping back to his voice. Lola's heart pounded. She needed to keep him distracted until help arrived. Lola sat across from Alex, trying to keep calm as they talked. She could feel her phone buzzing in her pocket. Kemi was responding, but she couldn't risk pulling it out. She just had to trust that the police will arrive soon. So, what now, Alex? Lola asked, keeping her voice as neutral as possible. How do we move forward from here? Alex's expression softened. We will figure it out. I know you will see that we belong together. Lola nodded, pretending to agree, but inside she was screaming. Every minute felt like an hour. She didn't know how long she could keep this act up before Alex realized something was wrong. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Alex's eyes narrowed and his body tensed. Who is that? He demanded, stepping towards the door. Lola's pulse quickened. This was it, the moment of truth. She stood up, slowly inching towards the door, but Alex blocked her path. Stay back, he growled. The knock came again, more urgent this time. Alex hesitated, then opened the door slightly, just enough to see who it was. As soon as he did, the door burst open, and Detective Kemi and two officers stormed inside. The police moved quickly, restraining Alex before he could react. Lola felt a rush of relief, but her legs were shaking so badly she could barely stand. Kemi hurried over to her, guiding her to sit down. You're safe now, Lola, Kemi said gently, her voice reassuring. Lola nodded, tears of relief streaming down her face. The nightmare was finally over. Alex, the man she had trusted the most, was being led away in handcuffs, still yelling about how everything he had done out of love. But love wasn't supposed to feel like this. Love wasn't supposed to be terrifying. In the days that followed, Lola struggled to process everything that had happened. The police had gathered enough evidence from Alex's devices to link him to all the emails, gifts, and threats. His obsession had started long before the first anonymous message, and he had carefully orchestrated everything to make Lola feel isolated and dependent on him. Tolu was devastated when she found out the truth, blaming herself for not seeing the signs. I can't believe it was Alex, she kept repeating. He was always so normal. Lola tried to move on, But the trauma of the past few months lingered. She started going to therapy, trying to rebuild her sense of safety and trust in others. It was a long process, but she knew she had to take it one day at a time. Months passed, and slowly, life began to return to normal. Lola found a new apartment, far away from the memories of her time with Alex. She quit her job at the firm, deciding to take some time off to focus on herself and heal. Tolu and Lola remained close, their friendship ever stronger after everything they had been through. They often talked about starting a new business together, something creative that would keep them busy and allow them to enjoy life again. But the scares of Alex's betrayal will always be there. Lola knew she would never be the same, but she also knew she was stronger now. She had faced her darkest fears and survived. A year after Alex's arrest, Lola stood in the living room of her new apartment, looking out at the skyline of Port Harcourt. The city that once felt so suffocating now felt like a place of possibility, a place where she could start over. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Tolu, reminding her about their launch plans later that day. Lola smiled, feeling grateful for the people who had stood by her during her darkest moments. As she prepared to head out, Lola caught a glimpse of herself in the mirror. She was no longer the woman who had been trapped in fear and uncertainty. She was someone who had reclaimed her life, piece by piece, and now she was ready to embrace the future. The past was behind her. The secret admirer was gone, and Lola was finally free.